Hello, YouTubers! Welcome to Mr. Zero's Terror Ride. I'm Mr. Zero, clown, comic, and commentator on haunted houses and things that are fun and scary fun. Check out my new t-shirt. My daughter picked this one out for my birthday. It's my birthday. Look at it. It's Nightmare on Elm Street. It's got the bus. That means it's Freddy's Revenge. Yep, Freddy's Revenge. Not the best one. It's kind of it's kind of very weird compared to the rest of them, but because in it Freddy actually comes into the real world, like instead of being pulled out of a dream, he's like. But yeah, and then there's the scene with the pop gun too. Check that out. Yeah. At any rate, gotta talk about Freddy because at Nightmare on Nightmare on 13th, not Nightmare on Elm Street, but Nightmare on 13th, where I work in the haunted house, something as a parking attendant. My last video, I was talking about how I was a pirate and that I would probably be working parking. Yeah, that was a 10-4, definitely on that. Correctamundo, Roger on that. I was working parking. It was the 11th. We had a deal this year. If you had bought your ticket any time before the 11th, and I don't know how much it cost. I think it was just the regular price. You get a wristband, and you get to come back in for free on the 11th. And that's and so obviously it was crazy mad. But you know, all those people that got the free pass bought their friends and said, "Man, this is cool. Come on with me." So then they had to pay to get in. And then a lot of them said, "Man, this line sure is long." Well, if you buy the VIP pass, boom, you get right in. That's an extra $10. So the place made plenty of money, plus there's concessions there. So it is a profitable thing, I guess, to do the free days like that. But it made it crazy busy. The line went from all through the warehouse, out through the gates that we have. They're set up where you can get to see the pneumatic animatronic character called Slayer sit there and say he's rhyming about demons and you know come on in, basically, you know, there's this very giant like demon out there being scary, and that's my impression of him. And he's called Slayer. But it's all out, and then it was all out around the length of the building, out to the length of the building next door. How long the line was. That's, I mean, if you could see the line on the inside, like what they'd have to go through just to get in, to get their pictures taken. Then you gotta go. Oh, it's crazy. But it was a good night. You know, nothing bad happening. I just did my parking, did my time. I think at the end of that night, one of the co-owners asked me how it was. I said, "Oh, it was great." And Troy, the other co-owner, Mike asked me how it was. Mike is one of the co-founders. The other co-founder, Troy, says, "Now Alan has the best flashlight technique. He makes sure that people know where to go in." That's what I'm going to show using my pumpkin guy. My technique, and it's basically I'm taking a flashlight and doing this and waving cars, and when a car comes in I just wave them in, and then with the left hand turns I do that, and it's pretty dumb. You feel a little bit silly doing it, but then you know you get like the radio stations come by and they'll be playing their music. The alternative station that comes around, they don't blast their music loud enough, and I prefer listening to alternative music. But the urban, I wouldn't necessarily say the hip hop station. They call themselves a hip hop station, but it's just urban music. It's like the top urban, you know, hip hop and R&B pop type stuff. Whatever they can fit under that title, they play it. And then there's another one that's just a top 40. They blast the music nice and loud, and it's got a good beat, so I can sit there. I'm seriously. Now they're dancing. They'll even start playing like Thriller, and I'll be like, boom, 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 boom. And I'll even like Thriller, Thriller night. And of course, I'm holding like a really heavy mag light while doing this. It's got a little um, cone on it that makes it glow. And I'll have to switch it. Or maybe if I'm bored, I'll go like that. Flip them around. Whoops. I never drop my light though. But yeah, spin it. Okay, and then the day after, I didn't know what to expect. I go in and like they didn't have a schedule set for anyone. Really, anyone could come in and say, I want that part, I want that part. But a few parts were specific. And one of those parts is it's called Psycho Receptionist. Basically, you're playing Norman Bates. They have a rocking corpse over here. That's they call it Grandma, but it's basically Norman Bates' mom, and you're supposed to have arguments with it. Which is just a skeleton that's rocking, wearing a dress and a wig. And so I'm sitting there. You're supposed to show split personality. Now, I was told specifically things I needed to mention. I was supposed to mention that there's ghouls and goblins and demons back there. And I was supposed to have arguments with the mother. And that's not what I did. I improv'd it. You see, there's another haunted house out here that has a script for characters. They come out and they recite a script to you. And it works well if, you answer the questions, you just listen to the script. If you try to, boom, and I've never done this because I'm not rude, but people that work at a haunted house, they'll go over there and they'll see if they can make them break character. When you're improvising, it's harder to break character because you're in the moment. So I just came up with two sides of my personality. There was the happy Norman character, the happy psycho. Hi, welcome to the motel. How you doing? I'm doing Jim Dandy. I've just had a nice day. I've been sitting by the fire, had a cup of hot cocoa, and read a magazine. How many of you there are you tonight? I said, how many of you are there? And then I started insulting them and then making them go through. And sometimes, like, I'll take, like, if there's 4 people, I'll split them up into 2. And I'll sit there, let the first 2 go in. Hi, where do you think you're going? No, I'm sorry, you're not. Oh, did you think you were with them? And then by that time, I can hear, like, from the monster that's in the bedroom, and they're screaming. It gets pretty loud. I'll sit there and go, that's my favorite part. No, I'm afraid you're not with them anymore. They're not with anybody. Go ahead. Don't touch the towels! Stuff like that. And that's like a receptionist. Night after that, they were giving away parts again, whatever anyone wanted, but they picked me. Like, I don't ask for parts, so that's probably what they did, but they picked me for what's called Drop Down Zombie. Right when you enter the Night of the Dead section of it, there's a door panel. It's a poster on the wall that talks about what you should do in case of a zombie attack or whatever. And on the other side is the Drop Down Zombie, and he has like little holes in the wall that he can see through. And they're covered with like black mesh so that people generally don't notice it. Sometimes they do. But there's a little latch and it drops this door, makes a nice loud slam, and they just pop out. Argh! And it works about, I'd say a good 70% of the time it scares people. Just on that. You don't have to do anything more than Argh! The slamming does most of the work. Then you pick it up, reset it, and then do it again. And I've gotten people like twice. I got a few people twice. I'd drop it down. They'd run back. I'd put it back up. They'd come back through. And I get all of their friends as well. And then, other times you get people and they're just like, they'll try to scare you back. And I never get scared, but I'll just reset and just say, I'm still scary to 70% of people come through here. And then I'll drop it down again. And usually by then I'll have a good scare and make myself feel better. And then sometimes people, like, they know it's coming. So I had one guy try pretend like he was going to punch me. And all of his friends were like, ha! He got you! I was like, not really. He could have really punched me and then I would get him. Because it's like, put your hand in here. Let's call security now. Have security come through. And there's a camera watching the whole thing. So, I mean, they'll have that, I even had one woman who came in. She was waiting for me. She saw me looking through the hole, and I'm like, well, I'll just wait until she comes through. And she stands right in front of the door. I open it. She's like, hi, and like trying to like flirt with me. It's like, no, I'm working. Get out of my face. And you smell of liquor. And so that was okay. So I've talked about the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. 14th was the nightmare at Nightmare. Okay, we had again, well, what really wasn't that busy, but a lot of drunks and other things going on. Guy was so inebriated that he walked out into the middle of the street, and I didn't notice for a while, but he's out in the middle of the other side of the street, blocking traffic. So then I talked to the guy who's doing what's called intimidator, and they're just like yelling at people to make sure that they keep going through our parking lot. And then he goes and yells for like his supervisor, our supervisor, his dad's a cop who works there. And so he comes and we have like two cops on busy nights and they go and they take care of it. They involved three more cop cars showing up that night. Um, a fire truck and an ambulance to cart this dude away and make sure that he was okay. Aside from that being bad enough out there, there was a domestic dispute out in the back. Dude and his girlfriend fighting it out physically. We also had people going through the haunted house peeing on things, on sets, and starting fights with actors. And on top of that, the temperature, it's been nice weather out here. The temperature in the haunted house got to such extremes. We had actors getting heat stroke, actors puking, actors passing out. It was terrible. Bad night. Very hard week this past week. And record numbers coming through. And then, of course, yesterday being Saturday, my birthday, I got to work on it. Yeah, it was so busy that they went and bought pizza as a reward for all of us working hard that night and trying to keep it up. And it was a hard night of doing. I went from 1079 The Mix came out, and they're top 40 music. So I'm sitting there, and even songs I know, yeah, they've got that "I'll Drink to That" song, whatever it's called, by Rihanna playing. I'm like, yeah, oh, that's my jam, yeah. And then I had the energy up, and it was so busy. I mean, like so crazy. We had to block off the first lane so that we had one lane of traffic going to make right turns, and then we had so that we could stop them a lot easier to make the other cars, the left-hand turns, come in. And I'm sitting there like, after I'm like, come on in, come on in. And when it gets that busy, oftentimes I'll sit there and I'm directing traffic. Well, the cop we had working out, helping me with traffic, he just says, "You stay back there and you guide them in. I'll make sure that they keep going." And so he's out there doing that, and then he'd stop traffic and let the left-hand turns in. I'm just sitting there making sure they keep going. And then that was working good for another hour, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, he just walks off, just disappears. And so then I'm like, I'm completely 100% alone out there involved with traffic. So I'm like saying, come on, come on. Okay, you stop. You stop. Don't hit me. Okay, you guys, come on. You go. Go. Traffic's blocked. Go. You stop. Okay, you can go. Okay, stop. You go. It was crazy night. I love it all the same. It's all fun for me. That's why I go there. I hear some people complain about like maybe they're not getting paid enough or there's not enough benefits. I mean, you're paid volunteers at this place is what basically you're considered. I'm there for fun. I like to do the acting, but now that I know, I've been told I've had plenty of evidence that the reason why I'm on parking is because I show proficiency at it. It makes me feel kind of good about it. Something I'm good at. But that's all I got to talk about. Oh, and the guy who usually plays Freddy Krueger for the photos, he gave us these cool little wristbands that say Nightmare. You can't really see it, but it says Nightmare on 13th rocks. Now I get to be cool and I've got a wristband too. Like everybody else in the world. End communication! Hurry, hit the button.